The next topic that I want to get into is a pretty common question that I get inside my Excel trainings. This deals with changing the width of a column and the height of a row. And this shows up in various questions that I get for many different reasons. One, I just want to get in there and make it look a little more presentable. Kind of spread some stuff out, get a little more white space inside of there, and really just treat it as a formatting option. The other reason I get this question quite a bit of is because data starts to get cut off if the column is too narrow, or maybe the row is just too low, right? It's not high enough. The height isn't presenting all the data. As an example here, when I moved the data earlier from A1 to F14, I moved it over into the E column, and the E column now is presenting all these pound symbols. Pound, 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 pound. Or hashtag, 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 right? So the reason why that happens is because it's a numeric value. Remember, dates are numeric to Excel, and it's just too narrow for the month of March. So all I need to do here is move up to my E column, right in between E and F. If I move my cursor there, see I got that kind of two-headed arrow looking thing? I'm going to left click and drag. And this will allow me to adjust the width of that column. You'll see if I narrow it too much, I go back to those pound symbols. If I narrow it way too much, then I'm starting to get pound symbols inside of all those numeric values. All I do is just drag that out just to give it a little bit more space and accommodate for the size of those values. Now, if it's not numeric, you don't get the pound symbols if it's too narrow, but it just gets cut off. You see credit card, it's just cut off right there, right? So I just grab it and I drag it out. There it is. And I can get that full value. You can do the same thing with rows. If I want to increase the height or decrease the height, I can go in between two rows like 4 and 5 here. I'll grab that line and just drag it to increase or decrease the height of that row. That can be super useful, not just for revealing more content, but if you want to increase the height and color the background and do some formatting commands, it can look pretty good. It can also happen if you end up wrapping text or have a big paragraph of text and you need to increase the width and the height of that cell. You can do that right here. Now I'm going to give you one more tip, actually 2 more tips. I love it. I love tips. I love shortcuts. So something else you can do. If you want to automatically adjust a column, I want to adjust the column width and I want it to find the largest value in that column and adjust it to that. Watch this. So let's say this one here. I'm going to shrink it back down again. Now, I just want it to auto-fit. Well, if I move my cursor in between the 2 columns again, get that double-headed arrow once again, I'll just double-click and it will auto-fit to the largest value in that column. What do you think of that one? All right. I shrink something else up here, double click, find the largest value. Let's see, these are all looking pretty, this one it can actually shrink, right? Total is much smaller, these are all much smaller. So if I double click in between F and G, it'll find the largest value and fit to that. Now, actually, I don't really like that. I'm going to bring it back out again. I like white space. If stuff is too crowded next to each other, it becomes hard to read. So, but you got a shortcut there. Something else you can do. Love this one, and it's a question I get asked all the time. How can I adjust multiple columns? Well, if I select, let's see, I want to adjust all 3 months, and maybe the total and the percent. Let's just throw them all in there. Exclude the bills, but I'm going to highlight C through G. I'm going to go to one column right in between, let's say D and F or D and E, and I'm going to left click and drag. Now it looks like I'm just adjusting the D column, but as soon as I let go, it will adjust all of them. And if I double click in between one of them, it'll auto fit every column. Love it. You want it to be uniform, consistent, highlight all the columns, readjust, and it adjusts each column. And the same will be true with rows. You highlight multiple rows in there, you drag it one of them, and it'll adjust all of them for you. So again, modifying your existing worksheet, making sure that your data is presentable, that you can read it, you're not getting those pound symbols where your numbers should be, you're not cutting off values like credit cards. adjust the width and height of your columns and rows. So try this out. Get some practice with it. Mess around with it. Try the different approaches, whether it's a single column, multiple columns, double click for an auto fit, right? Go wild with it. Adjust your columns.